What's up? I'm Gia Metric, and you're watching Xtra Magazine's After the Sashay.
Hey Squirrel friends, it's Extra contributor Russ Martin, and this is Xtra Magazine's After the Sashay, our weekly kiki with the most recently eliminated contestant from Canada's Drag Race. Let's go. Before we get going, I do know that you are prone to some long speeches, so I want to let you know that we only have 15 minutes.
Noted. I'm taking notes.
Tell me, what was the bigger gag? The surprise reunion or the lip sync off?
Oh, the lip sync off, babes. Yes, absolutely. I was like, I am going to the finale. I've made it. I talked about my aha moment, and then bam! There we were, lip syncing for our lives. And now that time has passed, and after rewatching it, I'm so proud of what I did, and I've given myself my own Oscar speech. So, sorry, my own Oscar.
I saw that on your Instagram. That was so cool. It's such a cool shoot. And, however it did turn out, those were fantastic lip syncs. So as an audience member, I want to say thank you because I was so entertained.
Oh, thanks so much. You know what? It was, it's one thing being a part of it and then actually getting to rewatch it. I was like, it was nice to see that it came across that, I was fighting for my life, and we made some great television. So
how did you feel when you realized that you had to lip sync against your sister Kendall?
Yeah, you know what? It's an interesting thing to think about because, obviously you go into the competition being an individual, and then having your sisters walk through that workroom, you're like, what? Oh my gosh. And it was really nice to have that security blanket and to have, people who understand and that support system. And by the time we got to episode 9, it was, the love that we had for each other was very strong, but it was almost easier to look at Kendall as just a competitor. And, we looked at each other, we talked to each other, and it was just like, we're both here for the same reason. And like, let's battle, girl, let's battle.
This came up at the reunion, but was sort of laughed off. Do you think it really was annoying for those other girls to be competing with all of these members of the Brat Pack?
No, I think that the girls just want to talk shit. They just want something to blab about, and we're all respectful. We all, like I said, we all built so many connections with so many other queens. And I think, unfortunately, the queens who, sashayed away a little bit earlier in the competition, they just didn't get to see that development, not only with our character, but with our relationships. And it's like, at the end of the day, if it did bother you, I'm sorry, but, not our intention. And, it was good for us.
Now, you did mention that you had developed so many other connections during the course of the show. Who were you really close to outside of the core of the Brat Pack girls?
Yeah, I would say like my main girl would be like Adriana. And, we kind of had that moment on episode 5 where she was picked last to be a part of the girl group. And after working with her and then hearing her, express that she felt a certain way about that, or she felt that she was, underestimated, it really just brought us closer to build that bond. And for me to be like, girl, I see you as a competitor, I see you as an artist, you are phenomenal. And we text every single day, which is so amazing.
I need to know, did you ever get around to following Eve 6000 again?
She made me, yes. Yeah. She actually, she took my phone and followed herself, and I just decided not to unfollow her again. No, you know what? I've known Eve for so long, and I truly just wasn't an active user of social media. And by that, I mean, I wasn't going out of my way to follow people. And she just didn't make the cut. She didn't make the cut, babes. Yeah.
You had posted about some jokes between you and Kimora and how they were weaponized by the fans who hurled negativity at her. I'm wondering what you think can be done to curb the toxic portions of the Drag Race fandom.
I truly think the only thing that we can do is when we do notice it and when we do see it online, it is to speak up. And, it's not about cancel culture. It's not about, throwing anyone under the bus. It's simply just, educating and, creating a conversation around how, that's not how it has to be. And, if you are doing this, then truly you're not a fan of me or a fan of Drag Race, because, you know, Drag Race is supposed to be, you know, guided by love.
Got a fun question for you. I want to know about the most famous person who has slid into your DM since you were cast on the show, and tell me a little bit about your interaction with them.
Oh my gosh. I have had some amazing Drag Race royalty slide into my DMs very supportively. I would say from the UK, Blue Hydrangea messaged me, you know, when promo dropped, and I chat here and there with Heidi in Closet, whom I love. We're trying to bring her to Canada. So yeah, those are kind of like the fun ones that I've had.
As viewers, we only got to hear a little bit about your identity as a non-binary person. I'm wondering what you can tell me about how you see the art of drag being gender performance as somebody who is non-binary.
Yeah, I think I like to call myself a tie-dye of gender. And, you know, even from the very beginning of my drag career, I've always explored with being androgynous and really not trying to fit a mold of any gender. And I think for me, especially being, you know, within the queer world, I always felt like being feminine outside of drag was looked down upon. And I felt like for so many years I would hide it, or I would just bring it out in my drag. And now I don't know what changed. I guess I grew up. You know, maybe we're all being educated a little bit more, so it is a little bit across the board, but I finally feel comfortable in, you know, being who I am, being who I want to be, and not being trapped by these gender definitions where, you know, one day I want to be this, one day I want to be that, and some days I want to be both.
I know that you are an advocate for mental health awareness. Did anything about the process of being on the show take a toll on your personal mental health?
You know what? This is probably one of the things that I was most surprised about. I was a mess getting ready for the show. I was like anxiety, I was stressed. I was literally crying like 3 times a day just because of the pressure that I was putting on myself. And I was actually worried about, you know, what state am I going to be in when I get into this pressure cooker? You know, it is a competition. It is going to be tough. And I was pleasantly surprised that I was able to let go of my fears, let go of my anxieties, and really just be present and be focused. The only time in the competition that I felt a little unbalanced, I keep describing it as like a pen leak. I feel like a pen leaked in my brain and I couldn't stop it, was week 7. I really got in my head about that roast. But the beautiful thing about it is that I was able to, you know, come out on the other side and just have this realization of, you know, you can do a challenge. You don't have to be perfect at every challenge, and it is not life or death. And I'm only human, so I'm allowed to make mistakes.
When you sashayed away on the show, you said that you were going to go text someone. Who got that first text?
My mom. Right away, I was like, "Hello, Mom." And it was like the first time that we had talked in almost 2 months, so it was quite a special moment. Yeah, wow. I love my mom.
I heard that you're really good at animal noises. Can you give me a taste?
Yes, I can. Okay, wait. Okay. Right? Pretty good.
That's very good. It'll make sense later, as they say.
It's like a really deep hidden talent that's like slowly coming to the surface. And it just makes people laugh. And I'm just like, there we go. There's my shtick. I found it. Thanks for watching Extras After the Sashay. You can catch me on Instagram at Gia.Metric or on Twitter at Gia_Metric. I'd give you my phone number, but you're going to have to slide into my DMs for that.